If you are a firstborn daughter, I want you to listen to this carefully. Being the firstborn does not mean you have to spend your entire life being responsible for everybody else. And I'm saying this not because I've completely figured it out. I'm saying it because I'm still learning it myself. Growing up, I always knew I was the first child and the first daughter, and somehow that came with a lot of pressure. I felt like I couldn't make mistakes. I had to be good. I had to make my parents proud. I had to set a good example because my younger siblings were looking up to me. So I grew up believing that I had to be strong. I had to get things right. I had to protect myself. I had to think before I acted because making a mistake felt like something I couldn't afford. The kind of discipline I received was also different. I was handled very strictly because my parents didn't want me to make mistakes as the firstborn. And as a child, I didn't fully understand what that was doing to me. But as I've grown older, I've realized something. I spent a lot of my life trying to prove that I was good enough for my parents, good enough for my siblings, good enough for everybody. And sometimes, when you're raised that way, you don't even realize when responsibility turns into a burden. You start feeling responsible for things that were never really yours to carry. You start thinking, if I don't do it, who will? Who will? If I don't sacrifice, am I being selfish? And before you know it, you're taking care of everybody, while forgetting to ask yourself, who is taking care of me, of me? I know this because I've lived it. Even after I got married, I realized that I had carried that firstborn daughter role with me. I was still the strong one. I wanted to do everything, the responsibilities, the chores, the things I felt needed to be done. Sometimes I would do things I believed should have been shared with my partner because I was already used to handling everything. And I didn't even realize how deeply that childhood pattern had followed me into my marriage. I had learned to survive by being strong, so I kept being strong. But sometimes, being strong can become so normal that you don't realize you're exhausted. And there's another part of my story that is very personal. I got married at 19. After that, I dropped out of school. 4 years later, I told my husband that I wanted to work. I wanted to earn money. I wanted to start a business. I wanted to build something for myself. But more than 6 years later, I was still at home. I had sacrificed my time to take care of the family and the children. And honestly, this is one of the hardest things for me to talk about, because whenever I think about it, sometimes I cry. Not because I don't love my family, I do, but because somewhere along the way, I started wondering about the woman I could have become. And maybe you're a firstborn daughter listening to me right now, and you're asking yourself the same question. What about me? When do I get to choose myself? When do my dreams matter? When do I get to build something that belongs to me? And that's one of the reasons I started venturing into YouTube and Facebook. I wanted to create something for myself. I wanted to build something, even if it started small. Because I realized that I cannot spend my entire life waiting for someone else to decide when my life should begin. And please, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you should abandon your family. I'm not saying you shouldn't help your parents. I'm not saying you shouldn't care about your siblings. I'm saying you should not lose yourself while loving everybody else. There is a difference. You can love your family and still have boundaries. You can support people without becoming responsible for their entire lives. You can be a good daughter without sacrificing every dream you have. And you can be a loving wife without believing that you have to carry everything alone. One of the biggest things firstborn daughters need to stop feeling guilty about is not being able to provide everybody's needs. You are one person. You cannot solve every problem. You cannot rescue everybody. And you don't have to destroy yourself just because you are the firstborn. I know how difficult it can be to say, this is not my responsibility. For me, that's still difficult because I've always wanted to do more. I've always felt like I should be doing something for my family. And honestly, I don't know what would happen if I suddenly stopped trying to solve everybody's problems. Maybe there would be problems. Maybe some people wouldn't understand. But I'm learning that sometimes choosing yourself isn't selfish. Sometimes it's necessary. So if you're a firstborn daughter and you're exhausted from carrying everybody, I want you to hear this. Choose yourself too. Take care of yourself. Give yourself permission to rest. Give yourself permission to have dreams. Give yourself permission to build a career. Give yourself permission to make mistakes. You don't have to be perfect. because your younger siblings are watching you. You don't have to prove that you're strong every single day. Be yourself. I want you to know that you're not different from your younger siblings. You're also someone's child. You're also allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to need help. You're allowed to have dreams. And you don't have to sacrifice your entire life just to prove that you're a good daughter. And if you're already married, building a family, or raising children, please don't make the mistake of believing that it's too late. It's not too late to start building yourself. Even if you start small, even if all you have is an idea, even if nobody understands it at first, start. Because you deserve to have something that belongs to you. And please, especially if you're a young woman preparing for marriage, don't abandon your career, your education, your skills, or your ability to earn just to please somebody. Build yourself, even if it's little. Because having something of your own can give you confidence, purpose, and a sense of identity. And most importantly, never confuse being needed with being loved. You don't have to exhaust yourself before you deserve love. You don't have to carry everybody before you are valuable. And you don't have to be the strongest person in the room all the time. You are allowed to be human. Love your family, support your siblings, be there for the people you love. But please don't forget yourself. Because being the firstborn daughter is a part of your story. It is not supposed to become the end of your story. And if you're still learning how to choose yourself, just like I am, start today. Even if it's one small step, choose yourself, build yourself, and give yourself permission to become the woman you were always meant to be. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in my next video. Bye!